Hey everyone, this is Captain Joel, and welcome to my latest Marvel Puzzle Quest video. This time we are going to be looking at the newest 5-star added to the game, Star-Lord, Osmix Volume 2. He is just released as a promotion for the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie that's coming out this coming week. The interstellar adventurer known as Peter Quill never imagined he'd one day be known far and wide as Star-Lord. But that's exactly what happened after the Guardians of the Galaxy banded together to save the universe. Now, with a new outlook, a mixtape of fresh tunes, and a mystery from his past, Quill sets out to save the galaxy all over again. I actually read a lot of the original Guardians of the Galaxy comic books from, well, I don't know if they're original, but the ones from the around 2008 or so when they were really ramping up the uh, galactic threat level space war stuff that was kind of completely separate from all the Earthbound shenanigans like Civil War and all those. So this was actually, I like these space conflicts where you had Star-Lord and you had Nova and the original Guardians of the Galaxy team. I think it was a lot more interesting back then than they made it all out to be now. Um, but the movie's okay. I haven't seen the new one yet. So let's take a look at Star-Lord. First thing to note is his health is 50,000. So compared to the other 5 stars, he's pretty much right around the middle. He's not super low like Doctor Strange. He's not lower like Old Man Logan or some of the other characters that have regeneration abilities. He's also not as doesn't have as much health as Thanos. And even more interesting, his match damage is actually one of the highest, if not the highest, match damages in the game right now. As you can see, he does 688 damage in his strongest color at level 450. I have a Black Panther, he's 5 levels higher and he does 697. So Star-Lord still's able to compete with some of these other characters. He definitely has more than Old Man Logan and than Black Suit Spider-Man. So for just plain match damage, he's going to be dealing a few hundred more damage a turn. Now let's take a look at his skills. So he is a yellow, purple, green character. His yellow skill is called Something Good, and it costs 10 yellow AP. Star-Lord swoops in with a last-minute rescue, looking surprisingly heroic in the process. At 3 covers, convert 5 basic tiles of the enemy's strongest color to green charge tiles. That effect is the same whether you have 3, 4, or 5 covers in yellow. Then the secondary effect, if one of Star-Lord's teammates has less than 40% health at 3 covers, or 50 at 4 or 5 covers, then gives the team a burst, meaning this healing is not going to carry over to another match. Gives the team a burst of 4,500 healing at 3, 4,500 at 4 covers, and 6,000 at 5 covers. So let's consider the 2 separate components of the skill. So component 1, it really doesn't matter how many covers you have. So you kind of think, okay, probably okay having this skill at only 3 covers. As we'll see, his other skills aren't really all that much more improved at additional covers either. So you might want to just keep this one at 5. But let's just consider the first part. So converting basic tiles of the enemy's strongest color to green, charge tiles. So how is this going to be useful? So first off, if you are fighting an opponent that has green as their most powerful color, then this skill will not convert any tiles. It'll just change the current green tiles into charge tiles. So the reason that changing the color of a tile is so useful is it sometimes allows a match to be made without you actually moving anything. You can just use the skill and make a match. That will not be the case if your enemy has green as their strongest color. So you have to consider who your opponent is if this is going to be useful. In addition, remember that because his match damage is so high, and charged tiles do about 3 times more damage, that will mean that he'll be doing a lot more damage if he does make a match of those charged tiles. I think more importantly is the fact that you can feed green to other characters that has strong green skills. But let's just take a quick look and see who has green as their strongest color in the 5-star tier. Black Bolt is one, Phoenix is the other. So those are actually two pretty commonly seen opponents in 5-star PvP land, but that still does leave quite a few other 5-stars you don't have to worry about this happening with. You also don't have to worry about in a mirror match against Star-Lord to accidentally, because Star-Lord's yellow is his highest damage move, so you don't have to worry about a mirror match causing you any issues. So it really is going to depend on who your opponent is if this skill does anything at all, really. The cost is quite high, but still, it really is going to depend who you're fighting if this skill is useful or not, but it does have the potential to be very good. But the cost is a bit high. Now the secondary condition that if one of your teammates has less than 40 or 50% health, it heals them. So first off, it's a burst heal, which means it's not going to save you health packs if you're trying to climb in PvP. Secondly, the amount that it's healing combined with the condition is not that great. I mean, you don't want to have a character that has less than 50% health. And a lot of the times you could go from full health to die completely in PvP in just 1 or 2 turns. So this could potentially save you, but I feel like most of the time the secondary condition will not be worth all that much. So I think that, the healing, while it might seem great, 6,000, that's a lot of healing, I think the conditional part of it is just bad. So I would probably want to go with 3 in yellow. But let's take a look at purple. So this is called something bad, and it costs 8 purple AP. While everyone's distracted by the chaos, Star-Lord quietly pockets some loot. What? It's not like they're going to miss it. Steals up to, at 3 covers, 2 random enemy strike, attack, or protect tiles. At 4 covers, it's 3. And at 5 covers, it's 4. Now, that's what's currently in the game. However, according to Brigby on the forums, or maybe it's Cthulhu, I'm not sure, they actually made a mistake with this skill because the 3-star version actually steals a much higher number of enemy special tiles. So I believe that number is going to be... Actually, it looks like they already fixed it, so this is correct now. So you're stealing 4 special tiles, and if your enemy does not have any special tiles, instead you're going to steal random enemy AP, either 6, 7, or 8, depending on the number of covers. So this skill is horrible. Why is it horrible? It only does one of 2 things, which for a 5-star is pretty bad, and one of those 2 things is simply stealing a couple special tiles. Special tiles are really not worth that much. Certainly not worth 8 AP. It's not going to really change the tide of a match to just steal a couple of strike tiles. I don't think that's a very useful skill at all. And then the other condition, if there are no special tiles, is stealing random AP. Not only that, it's stealing it from only 1 color. Not only that, if the enemy has only 1 AP in a pool, that means you will only steal 1 AP. So you could end up spending 8 purple AP and only stealing 1 blue AP, which is horrible. So this skill, it's almost better off to have 0 covers if it weren't for the fact he would have to be a lower level. It's just a really bad skill all around. I don't know what they were thinking. They seriously need to revamp Star-Lord as of if you just look at his first 2 skills alone. But maybe his green skill is redeeming. It's called a bit of both, and it costs 12 green AP. Star-Lord cranks up the volume in the Milano, unleashing its blasters on the battlefield. Destroys at 3 covers 2 random columns of tiles, and at 4 and 5 covers it's destroying 3 random columns of tiles, leaving any friendly tiles still there, and deal at 3 covers 6,887 damage to the enemy team. Same amount of damage at 4 covers, it's just destroying an extra column, and at 5 covers it's now up to 8,000 damage to the enemy team. Destroyed tiles do not generate AP or deal damage. So what they are doing here is essentially having the value of being able to destroy random columns be placed very highly. Compare this to a boosted Iceman in PvP, who has a 12 AP, green AP move. Now, Iceman's green move does not destroy any columns, but the amount of damage it does, 7,000 base damage plus 626 damage. Well, take into account my Iceman is at level 288 right now. This is when he's boosted, by the way. So he will do around 13,000 damage when he's boosted and he uses his green, if there's around 10 blue tiles out on the board, which is pretty easy to get with Iceman. So you've got a 4-star boosted doing significantly more damage than Star-Lord, a 5-star. And Iceman has a better skill set all around as well. He can actually stun opponents and generate more blue. Now, Star-Lord does have one thing going for him, is that he can potentially feed his green with his yellow. However, it's only 5 tiles being converted, so it's not a given that you're going to get any matches out of it. And that also costs 10 AP, which is not cheap. So I feel like it could go really well in your favor when you destroy a column because of the high match damage of Star-Lord. Or it could end up being a horrible skill. You're not going to be able to finish anybody off with this. And even within ignoring the fact that Iceman is better, even within the current 5-star tier, we've got Thanos, who also has a 12 AP move, and his move does 21,000 damage. Now, of course, Thanos has to wait for his move to work. It takes a few turns, and that can get matched away. But it's worth it. You're dealing around 12,000 more damage with Thanos for the same cost. And Thanos has more health and a better skill set in other areas. So you could potentially say you want to use Star-Lord to feed Thanos, but I don't know if that really makes much sense to bring Star-Lord along just to feed Thanos, because Star-Lord is pretty bad in his other areas. Black Bolt also has his green, which can do up to 28 or so thousand damage, although it requires a lot more AP in different colors. And he destroys the entire board, not just a few columns. So overall, this green is also pretty bad. I think that he is now pretty much competing for the title of worst 5-star now. He's better than the Hulk maybe, by a little bit, just because you don't have to worry about transforming to use his green. But I think he probably is worse than just about every other 5-star character besides the Hulk. We'll have to see how annoying it is when you're playing matches with him consistently, that maybe he'll get lucky cascades more often. Who knows? That's the kind of thing that you can't really test out until you've played dozens of matches against him. But I think overall he's not going to be that useful. I really hope that they buff him very soon, because this is not a good advertisement for the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And it's disappointing for them to create such a lackluster 5-star. So overall, bad. Even more difficult is figuring out who a good teammate would be for him, because his green move is pretty much his only damaging move. The problem is, it's not all that good. So you're going to kind of be building Star-Lord entirely around his green, which would also mean probably trying to get his yellow off. And the purple you'd use if you're just a few AP short and hope you get lucky with what you steal. But I think realistically you're going to be wanting to use a character. You could either use Star-Lord to feed Black Bolt or Thanos, but I don't think that makes all that much sense, because they're better off on their own anyhow with other teammates. I just can't even think of a good team to use him on. It's just, he's bad. That's pretty much all there is to it. I can't really think of any teams where I would want him to be on it. If you want to create the green AP and get cascades, I mean, there's no characters that really benefit that much from cascades except for Phoenix. But then you've got the color overlap with the purple and the green, even though you can't use her green until she dies once. So I suppose you could maybe use Phoenix with Star-Lord, but he's just pretty bad. So I don't know what they were thinking. This is probably the worst 5-star they've added since the Hulk. Time will tell, but as of right now, I think he's pretty bad. So watch my next video where I'm going to play a few matches with him, and we can see if my first impressions were correct, or if maybe he does end up being a lot better than he looks on paper. Stay tuned.